I'm giving away 3 Welkins on my Discord server, so make sure to join if you want to win. Link is in the description. I really hope this new round of leaks turns out to be false, or at least heavily misunderstood, because if even half of this is true, it's going to shake up the way we think about the upcoming patches. Out of primos? Don't worry, I know a way to save money and get double the Genesis crystals. This is lootbar.gg. It's pretty much the same as the in-game top-up system, but here you get up to 25% off, and if you're a new user, you get a further 10% off if you use the link in the pinned comment. The $100 pack in-game costs only $61 on Lootbar. All you have to do is pick your bundle, enter your UID and server, and your crystals get delivered in seconds. They have a bunch of positive reviews on their website and are trusted by many. If you're planning to top up for Genshin or Star Rail, use my link in the description or in the pinned comment. It'll save you a bunch, and it's fast, safe, and secure. Let's start with the one that's blowing up the most right now. Durin, who is now rumored to arrive in 6.2 as a Pyro sword character. Now, his kit as described by leakers actually sounds pretty unique. His elemental skill supposedly restores energy when used, but the main feature is that it lets him swap between 2 different forms. That already sets him apart mechanically. His burst is also form-dependent. It's off-field pyro damage, but the way it functions changes based on the stance he's in. If he's in Form 1, you're looking at a big AoE that hits a wide area, but the trade-off is lower multipliers. If he's in Form 2, it's the opposite. A smaller AoE, but with much higher damage multipliers. That kind of duality is really interesting. The passives are where things get a bit weird. While his burst is active, both forms gain unique buffs. In Form 1, whenever nearby teammates trigger a pyro-related reaction, enemies lose 15% pyro resistance and also 15% of the corresponding elemental resistance tied to that reaction. So for example, if you trigger Overload, electro resistance drops alongside pyro. In Form 2 though, Durin's vaporize and melt reaction damage gets boosted by a massive 40%, scaling with elemental mastery. That's already strong, but here's the kicker. If you're running 2 or more Hexenzirkel characters in your party, those effects get doubled. That's ridiculous, and honestly kind of concerning, because it looks like they're really trying to force Hexenzirkel synergy. His signature weapon also ties directly into this. Leakers claim it has 608 base attack and 33.1% crit rate as its substat, which is a solid stat line. But the weapon's passive supposedly only works at full power if you've got at least 2 Hexenzirkel members in your party. So again, they're doubling down on this idea of team-locked synergy, which could make him really strong in specific comps, but weaker outside of them. That has a lot of people nervous, because it might limit creativity in team building. I personally don't like it, and hope that it gets changed, or that it's not that big of a deal. He still looks like a better Shangling though. Switching over to Nefer, there's been a lot of confusion around her recently. Older leaks suggested she didn't have AoE in her kit at all, which disappointed a lot of people. But now the new leaks are saying the opposite. Her elemental skill actually deals AoE dendro damage, so it looks like she might be more versatile than people first thought, and honestly, that's a relief. Even though Stygian Onslaught is single target, having Nefer do AoE damage is nice. Now let's talk about what's just around the corner. The 6.1 livestream and the banners. The livestream should be happening around October 10th, and that's where we'll get the official reveals and confirmations for everything. The patch itself is expected to launch on October 22nd. Banner leaks are already making the rounds, and if they're right, Phase 1 is going to bring Nefer's debut. We don't know the what phases Zhongli, Farina, and Arlecchino will be in. If this ends up being accurate, 6.1 is already looking stacked, and that's before we even get to 6.2 with Durin. All of this is leaving the community in a really strange place. On one hand, the idea of getting Durin as a playable character is massive. He's been part of the lore since the very beginning, and a lot of people never thought he'd show up in the roster. On the other hand, the way his kit is being described has people worried. The whole double bonuses with Hexenzirkel members mechanic could either be really fun and thematic, or it could turn into a nightmare of forced team comps, where you can't run him properly unless you pull for other specific characters. That's not exactly the kind of direction players like to see. And then you've got the smaller details, like Nefer's AoE updates, which are reassuring, but also serve as a reminder of how fast things can change in the leak cycle. First, she doesn't have AoE, now she does, so you never really know what's set in stone until the livestream hits. That's why I keep saying, always take leaks with a grain of salt. So yeah, that's where we're at right now. Durin possibly coming in 6.2 as a Pyro Sword Hexenzirkel character, Nefer's kit being adjusted with AoE in mind, and the 6.1 livestream and banners right around the corner. Let me know what your thoughts are on all this. Thanks for watching and subscribe, or you'll lose your 50-50 to Chi-Chi.